This right here is the Asus ProArt Display 27-inch with a 1440p or 2K resolution. And this right here is the actual monitor. I have long needed to make a substantial investment in better displays overall, because over the last couple years I've been working off of what feels like a TV. It was really a 32-inch kind of budget gaming monitor. The display wasn't that great, not very color accurate. These are the exact opposite. And when I say these, yes, I did get two of them, so I'm gonna have a dual monitor setup, which is nice. Now with these things, the only problem I seem to have is this right here. Granted, this bottom base is beautiful. It does take up about a square foot of space, and I often have numerous projects going on my desk, so I don't really have the space for it. This right here is the Huanuo. This is a full motion desk mount for, of course, dual monitors. Now, they did sponsor this video, but that will not stop me of bringing up any negatives and cons if I do so run into them. Which, by the way, at least for these monitors, the one thing that kind of sucks when it comes to ditching what is stock on here is these are actually pretty good. It's not going to be a full range of motion like we're about to get, but I mean, you can bring this up and down. You have some pretty dramatic options when it comes to tilting them. And then, of course, my personal favorite thing is we can rotate it just like so, and then have an absolutely stunning vertical display, which of course I'm still going to be able to accomplish with this mount. But to be quite frank, if I didn't need the extra desk room, which I really do, I'd stick with these. Let's slide that back, and let's go ahead and unbox this guy. Now, the one cool thing about this, and one of the reasons why I accepted doing this, is they have a ton of wonderful reviews on Amazon, to the point that I'm pretty sure I almost purchased these a while back, but I decided to go with a single monitor arm, which was what I've been using with the 32-inch monitor. This one, if I bring up their Amazon page here, supports 17 to 27-inch monitors, which for me, it should support these. I have two 27 inches, so we're going to be testing its limits, as well as 14.3 pounds. Installation booklets. I'm going to bring my desk down a bit. There we go. And here we are. First thing I will mention, it is substantially lighter than the arm I'm currently using. But with that, overall, it is still the same form factor. This uses gas and spring to be able to move around and stay in place. And these gas springs are 20,000 times cycle tested for dependable long-term performance. Supports plus 35 or negative 50 degree tilting. And supposedly, at least according to the Amazon page, install is in 5 minutes. We'll see. Oh, do be careful. What else do we got in here? We have our brackets, or at least one of the brackets actually mounted to the desk. And we have a second one. And then over here, our hardware. So here we have our standard VESA mount. We can unscrew this and take it off to help with some cable management, as well as right here, you could run it through this part of the arm. And of course, right in here for both arms, there's a spot where you can use an Allen wrench to raise and lower the tension. So before I get ahead of myself, I'm gonna give this a quick scan. USB lines. The USB lines are not included, but in theory you could unscrew this, and right here you could have two places to plug in USB drives. These monitors have that, so I'm not really going to use that feature, but nonetheless that saves us a whole page of steps. So the main actual step for installation is using an Allen wrench to screw this to the mounts. Fairly self-explanatory right there. So this screw right here for our base, 3 of them. And then you just repeat the step 5 more times with the other 5 screws. And then when you are all done, it will look a little something like this. And then from there, how this works, we have these little notches here and our little bottom bracket. And all you do is slide this in, and then you hook this on one of those notches or whatever is the best size for your desk. And then you screw this in to go ahead and tighten it, which I am going to do right now. So here we are on the other side of the desk. All we do is set this flat on the desk like so. And then we have our guy here. We're just going to go ahead and do exactly what I just said, and then attach it to the very first notch. There are a lot of notches, so you could use this on a really thick desk. All right, so the first one's tightened, so this is kind of in place for us. We're going to grab our second one and do the exact same thing. And now our arms are ready to go. So we can move on to the next step, which at least according to the manual, which seems to be attaching our monitors. And our next step is to remove the stand of my monitor. Now I thought this would be a difficult task, but apparently another good thing about these ProArt monitors is it is not. There is a quick release button on the rear cover. Detach the stand from base, easy as that. Which, yeah, I mean, it's a huge button. This right here is the detach button. They recommend laying it face down, pushing the button, and pulling it off. Well, I'll be damned. Incredibly easy. And we do have just some oh so slightly longer screws to be able to support the added depth of these plates. So I'm going to unscrew all 4 of these and get this mounted. So there we go, and we have this guy ready. Now, it's going to be a lot easier to do this with help, which I do recommend, especially if you're using a 27-inch monitor like this. So here I have my niece to help me out. Screw in the pre-included screws, just like this. Now real quick, I'm gonna have to pause right here because there's actually a much easier way to go about this. I did notice while holding it and trying to screw it on that the top ones are notched, so the best way to go about this is to screw in the top 2 screws about halfway, and then that way you could just go ahead and slide the monitor right onto the mount. Makes it really easy. From there you could go ahead and tighten it down and then add the additional 2 screws. So now I could actually kind of show you the movement possibilities with this now. All the way 360, we can spin it. Obviously a whole heck of a lot easier to do when it's not actually plugged in. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to install the other one. I'm going to take a break here, use it for a day or 2, and then report onto you guys my overall experience. And speaking of, you could see I do have both of these set up now. They have been rocking and rolling, and I'm going to give my impressions. But first we have to talk about the one thing we have not touched on yet, and that is the actual cable management features. I'm going to attempt to swivel this around here. Range of motion is really good, so you can say just pull it, and I can do the same for this. As you can see, the cables are very limited as I went ahead and ran them through the arms. For this top one, you just go ahead and unscrew it. You place the cables in there how you want them to be, making sure that they don't cover the actual screw hole. Pop it back on, screw it in. Now for this one down here, there was kind of a negative. It was very difficult to get the screw out initially, and I was kind of worried that I was going to end up stripping it. But really that's the only con. Just be prepared to work. And I would almost suggest you go ahead and run the cables through these before you even get it on the desk and put the monitors on, because then it's probably a lot easier to go ahead and handle and get the cables through. But basically same situation, we just go ahead and unscrew this right here. The whole thing comes off, and there are 2 holes on each side, so you can kind of direct the cables in what direction you want them to go so they are not visible. Overall, it does look really good. You just swivel these back here, there, and then bring this one up, and there we go. The only other really con I can think of, and I'm really stretching here, it's hard to get these like absolutely perfect. I'm a little OCD. But overall, they look really good. And like, for example, this monitor right here, if I wanted to switch it vertical, whoop, easy as that. And then I would go ahead and push it and move it around and adjust it exactly how I would like it to be. Just like that is probably the configuration that I will end up using for most of the time. There we go. It just looks good overall. So again, big thank you to these guys for sponsoring this video. If you are looking for a dual monitor desk arm, this is definitely a good option. I'll have a link down below to the Amazon product page, which, by the way, I was able to get a coupon code so you could get an extra 15% off. That code is on screen now, so make sure you go ahead and use that when you're checking out. Do make sure you subscribe. I got something really cool in. This is a Orange Pi 5, and we're going to be testing all kinds of things on it. With all that, I do hope you have an absolutely beautiful day, and goodbye.